This time around, it's also going to be a Lizard playing a mage instead of an assassin, so hopefully he can be on a little bit more of a comfort pick, as even though he did show us that he can play something something mechanically intense as the Echo, hopefully he can kind of shine in the mid game a bit better in a pure 5v5 team fight, as last time around we saw them in a 1-3-1. This time it's a 1-4, playing into a 1-4 as well, so it's going to be about team fights a lot rather than the side lane pressure, which it was last time around. However, once again, I want to re-emphasize that point. Picks. Incredibly important to watch the vision control for both these teams. Are there any fogs of war in the jungle? Is there anything unwarded? Is anyone overextending their boundaries? Because if they are, they can go down in a moment's notice. So very important to be watching that for these teams.
As we are loading into the rift, the teams are going for the cover, just spreading out across the jungle, trying to make sure they get all the entrances under their vision. Something just to point out, because I feel like it, we have two stopwatches in the runes for Varte and Felister, so once that minute 10 hits, you could be seeing some more aggressive playmaking from Black Robes Gaming.
I'm actually curious what the decision-making behind picking the stopwatch for Varte was, because he is picking up the Conqueror for Silas, which means that he wants to be going for the prolonged trade, of course. But taking inspiration second is, I think, a little bit of an unorthodox thing, because I don't think that he had those runes last time around, so going to be interesting to see how he performs with these ones. He could have opted for sorcery as his second tree, but regardless, that is a little bit of a niche thing, as now minions arrive to the lanes. Yay.
Yeah, and I mean, as expected, not a lot of action right off the bat, since not a lot of early game focus. I feel like the only early game we have is that top side that we talked about. Bot lane should be relatively safe for both of the sides without any jungle interference. I really doubt we will see any kills coming through. A similar story in the mid lane, so it will be all about controlling that top side, at least for the early game aggression.
We talk about the no jungle interference, essentially, and I kind of have to point out that Varte last time around, he had a pretty impressive performance. I said this in the little bit of a pre-game that we had, that he wasn't the losing link of Black Rose Gaming. So if he can perform today, once again, if he can find these leads on that side, if he can start finding those ganks, he actually has a little bit of an easier time than Olaf, because he has the innate crowd control in his chains, which is something that the Olaf desperately lacks. So can possibly be the turning tide for Black Rose Gaming, but as you said, we kind of have to wait for the solo laners as well as the bot laners to kind of find some leads themselves, looking like Fuzzy Esports. They're just pushing the wave in the bot lane, just utilizing the superior wave clear.
Yeah, and Bumblebee is also managing to utilize that Irelia to get the early shoves, get some CS ahead of jungler no ganks, which of course will be made equal anytime soon. What is actually also really interesting that I want to point out is the comment on Kale. This is something new that you see, where the Ashe will go for Comet and Triforce, and it's actually pretty insane once you hit the 2 items.
Yeah, it's a build that very heavily relies on that 2-item power spike, as you get more CDR, you get essentially all of your stats much earlier. It's the build that is kind of sacrificing late game, but in this case, it doesn't really matter for Fuzzy Esports that they're sacrificing one of their late game carries, just because you have already Flame Scuff that is going to be playing that Azir. So you're always going to be having that secure backline DPS, which is something that Fuzzy Esports need if they want to be playing from a safe backline of this shafty Olaf. So they're not going to be too concerned in that regard.
Bot jungler is now actually making it towards the top side for the second Cattle Crab, and Varte will be spotted out. He has only got that blue buff against the double buffs, and I'm not sure if he can trade 1v1 in the jungle, as that is the chase onto Flame Scat. He's locked up with a stun, flashes away, the Arcano Pulse nearly takes him down. Lizard trying to do it, but first blood picked up by Shafty, it's gonna be equalized. However, Fuzzy Esports get the second kill onto Bumblebee.
Varte flashes aggressively there as the Silas and pays dearly with his life for it. 1 for 2, he does secure himself that first kill, or rather gives it over to Lizard, but well, it wasn't enough, as in the meantime, Bumblebee rotated over from the top lane, given that he was able to accumulate so much pressure. You know, despite the CS looking very, very even there, and secure that kill for himself, likely to sway the tides in that top lane as well.
And it's just a great play from Fuzzy Esports. They get a narrow CS advantage, but it is great for a team that had only one win before today at week 6. That is more than what you can ask for. And we'll see if they can snowball it, because those are the big question marks. I feel like there is still a lot that Black Rose Gaming have to show this game, and we're just waiting for them to answer.
Definitely waiting on the answer just yet. We kind of have to wait for the power spikes as well, as the curious thing about the Ashe and Ezreal matchup. As you said, there is now a new build for the Ashe where you rush Triforce first. You can also rush mid lane if you're this Olaf right now.
Shafty looking to get the Anatos onto Lizard, just snipes him with the reckless swing. Khaled dropping pretty low in the ball lane, but I don't think he cares too much. It's now 2-0-1 on Shafty, 0-1-3 on Flame Scuffed, and we talked about top lane maybe being the focus. Seems like Fuzzy Esports are content to play through mid.
Yeah, they're just happy playing through mid simply because they managed to get that flash from Lizard, and given that he isn't running any defensive summon spell, instead he opted for the TP to be able to match and try and bully Flame Scuffed out of the lane as this Azir. Well, it's not really going to be coming to fruition, because now he's just a target of repeated ganks. About 2.5 minutes, I believe, left on that flash timer, so there is still a really big window of an opportunity that Shafty can take to try and just abuse this mid laner of Black Rose Gaming. Now, top lane. Bumblebee's going in.
Throws down the Vanguard Surge, gets the stun with a flourish duet, goes forward with a blade surges, finishes off Jungle, ganks, gets out of the turret aggro, and he picks up the solo kill, but Flame Scuffed gets nailed with the shocking orb in mid lane, and you know, trying to escape from the right of the Arcane Philister, just roots Cal, and a lot of kills going back and forth. I think what's important to notice is Lizard managed to get 2 of them.
Right now, that Ashe ult is stolen.
Oh, Kali, great flash. Is it enough? Yes, it is. Gino gets the kill onto Varte. Lizard is now under attack. Philisto kills Kali in the meantime. The Zerat gets ran down, but Nake's in the mid lane. He might be the cleanup. Flashes over the wall, looking to get in onto Shafty. Cash in on that shutdown if he can. That's 300. Shafty, he's actually life-stealing. He has a lot of attacks with can Nake's finish him off. I mean, yes.
Oh, no, he doesn't get the last one. No. Oh, I was rooting for him.
It is a shutdown for the AD carry of Black Rose Gaming, and this game gets a bit more interesting now. We're getting to a more even territory with a lot of kills being picked up by the Black Rose Gaming members.
Yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate fight there, which began for Black Rose Gaming by catching Flame Scuffed out. Did give the second kill to Lizard, however, who now has 2 kills on that Xerath. So given that he is now paired up with that 1 kill on Ezreal, they're still not looking too shabby when it comes to damage output, as most of the damage is going to be sitting on Olaf, which is going to be a mess if you're kind of a squishy damage dealer in this early game, because you're not going to be able to kill him. But still, it's good that they're getting these kills. It's good that now it's going to be Lizard with a bit of an easier time in that mid lane to just push this Azir down and try to shut him down as much as he possibly can.
Next, he just goes for the complete mana mune. Early on, 8 minutes, so he will be stacking that, and he will be able to complete it early on in the mid game. And as much as the 2-item Ashe power spike, the new build is important. The 2-item Ezreal power spike has always been there, and it will always be scary.
Yeah, however, we're talking about the Triforce power spike. Looks like Kala is kind of content with building Essence Reaver for the first one.
Oh yeah. I forgot to mention, I usually build Essence Reaver first, and then you go.
Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. Sorry, it's the level 2.
It's okay.
Yeah, sorry, no, my bad. So, and speak about the Manamune finished first on Nakes, and often what you see from Ezreal is that they decide to rush for the Sheen first, and that's often because you just want that lane dominance. You want to be able to just deal so much more damage with your Qs as well with your auto attacks if you miss them. But this time around, it's not the case. Ezreal doesn't want to be killing this Ashe and Karma bot lane. He just wants to be farming up. He just wants to be hitting those Qs every now and then to be proccing that cut though. But outside of that, he's just happy with farming up, similarly to this Ashe.
And this is why this bowling is so boring, and we probably won't be seeing any action unless both Shafty and Varte will make their way down there. No flashes on anyone but Gino. which, you know, could potentially open up for some action, and we see both Varte and Shafty realize that and are already roaming down.
Looks like they're going to be trying to go for something. Varte can find something here with those chains. Can steal the ulti from, you know.
The Enchanted Crystal Arrow instead connects in onto Nax. He's going to get smited down by Shafty. Varte still on chain. It's a double! The Olaf is unstoppable as you see the name above his head. And Kale with the volley, he's gonna cash in on the kill. Fuzz Esports make a huge play in the bot lane.
It's just an unfortunate situation for Black Rose Gaming. Lizard is trying to steal something here. Gets jumped on top of.
Well, Flame Scout, he's looking for the Emperor's Divide, flashes and gets a Lizard through the flash, and that's Kale with the second kill. I like what I'm seeing. Fuzzy Esports, they find the early leads against Black Rose Gaming, and I'm starting to ask, is it that McFreeze is such a big deal for them, or are we seeing these bottom teams stepping up?
I say it might be a combination of the two at this point.
Most likely.
Yeah, as oftentimes with McFreeze, it's that he can find these in the lane himself, but he turns into an absolute monster mid-game with these team fights, which hasn't been the case for Nyx because he really hasn't gotten the chance to show that just yet. The big problem for BRG isn't right now the bot lane. It's that right now they're facing Shafty with 5 combined kills simply because of superior rotations that Fuzzy Esports were able to exercise over BRG. So right now they're sitting in a bit of a CS deficit, 3,000 gold right now. Going to be very uncomfortable for them to try and fight it, as now Kala has finished that Essence Reaver, going to be honing in on that Triforce soon.
No,
Goodbye, Lizard. Yeah.
No flash, no way to escape. Shafty only killing spree, 6th kill of the game.
It's just unfortunate, really.
I mean, you can't do much.
Yeah.
The only counterplay is don't push, but I mean, you kind of have to if Flame Scuffed isn't in lane.
I mean, the problem is, right, because Lizard, he knows that he has to try and shut this Azir down. That's what that Xerath pick is trying to do. But he just didn't have it warded. He didn't have that topside brush warded, nor did he have a ward anywhere else in the river. And so he couldn't spot Shafty coming in time. And as I said, that the vision control was going to be playing a huge factor in this game, as you have a lot of pick potential from Ashe as well as Azir and Aurelia. Well, if you get this beefy Olaf on top of you because, you know, you just disrespect him and he's right behind you, it doesn't matter that there is no one else there because he just kills you. He doesn't need CC. He just needs death.
Yeah, and he's on their tower.
Yeah,
just leave them alone, Shafty. He's playing out of his mind, I have to say. He's 8-1-3, going for every single one of these kills. Varte cannot do a damn thing. Look at him, he's gonna get off. One more undertow will do it. Here comes Flame Scuffed.
That's an interesting TP.
Yeah, well, however, they might be looking for the tower. Jungle Gax looking to turn it around. He gets Jill. That's the first kill. He's gonna pick up the revive. The Fire Church not quite getting it in. However, the shots from Lizard managed to get one more. And even though it is the side of Fuzzy Esports that get ahead, Black Rose Gaming do manage to get something back.
Yeah, at least Black Rose Gaming are firing back. They're not just submitting to the Fuzzy Esports' rule. They're trying to find at least some windows of opportunities to find these picks, find these kills, which is important because that kill did go over to Lizard, of course, who is now going to be incredibly close to finishing that Luden's Echo, and you need that as fast as humanly possible at this point because you need to start contesting the side of Fuzzy Esports. You don't have the superior scaling composition. You're going to be facing this Azir. Once again, the new build on Ashe essentially turns her into a utility bot, given the 40% of a CDR instead of just her being a damage threat. But still, you have to be trying to go for something, so I'm glad to be seeing that, but it's just not yielding any fruit, at least just yet.
Very much not. Something also to point out is just with 30, you have... Okay, well, never mind, because Varte looking for a gank in the top lane, he gets stunned up by the arrow and goes gold and pops this stop. With Jungle no ganks, he's gonna be able to down Kale for the kill. Gino might be next time. Here comes Shafty, he's godlike. He forces the flash on Nate. He does whatever the hell he wants. Jungle no ganks looking to turn him away, but He just cannot do a damn thing against this Vikings. 11-1 and 3 picks up yet another double.
And right now it just turns into a steamroll for the side of Fuzzy Esports. You have this Shafty who is just incredibly fat, forcing himself upon everyone. Well, it's just difficult to play if you're Black Rose Gaming. Nake's is trying to find some creeps. At least the CS score or the creep score isn't that bad. However, the problem is right now Fuzzy Esports are actually playing pretty well. They're just finding these leads, finding those objectives. They're snowballing really well actually, despite their unfortunate position in the league. They're just trying to find this Rifterhold and trying to end this game as fast as they can.
And I do have to say that I don't think it will even matter if McFreeze would be this game, not with this performance, because it's not the bot lane that is the major issue for Black Rose Gaming right now. It's the mid lane, jungle, top lane, all getting, okay, well maybe not the mid lane, but jungle and top lane all getting individually outclassed by their counterparts. And it's just, I'm just glad to see it. It means that we don't have this super clear division between the teams. We don't have the top teams, we don't have the bottom teams, and you cannot take games of each other. We have some sort of, you know, a state where a team can still win despite being multiple positions below you.
Yeah, it's a very tense situation right now in SQ1, and we are in for a lot more weeks of incredible League of Legends as upsets are just being pulled off left and right. Today, once again, to reiterate, PogChimp got beaten by Fuzzy Esports, whom we weren't expecting at all. Black Rose Gaming succumbed to Stopwatch. Yeah, sorry. But now we kind of have to be asking why that is happening. And I think that it may have something to do with McFreeze being more than just an AD carry, more than just a damaging threat. Perhaps he has a bit more of a calling position, because so far what we are seeing from these players on BRG happen right now is that, well, they're just not coordinating enough. They're overextending in lane, they're disrespecting their opponents, and when it comes to a team fight, they don't precisely coordinate well enough. That was an Asher, but they don't coordinate well enough to be able to even 5v5 their opponents, so looks like we're just going to have to wait essentially for BRG to prove us wrong in the next week, hopefully. You should stay tuned for that. However, now, back to more important matters, as Fuzzy Esports, they're pushing in mid lane, summoning the Rift Herald.
Yeah, and I just want to come back to your point very quickly. It is also another support. Usually this Heat XD, I believe, playing for the side of Black Rose Gaming, so Philister is first time playing there, so when it comes to communications, it is the entire bot lane being swapped out, not just the AD carry for today. So that could be a point much more closer to home than we would expect, as the Herald in the mid lane doesn't find the tower. Fuzzy Esports find themselves chunked very low on HP, and Flamescuffed is recalling on a ward. Flash stun from Lizard, the chase from Varte secure the kill, and that's kind of unfortunate, but a good play from Black Rose Gaming.
Good catch. The side of Black Rose Gaming just shoot that pigeon right in his torso, and they just leave him dead to dry as he tried to go into them to try and get the Emperor's Divide, but, well, didn't really yield any results. Ash Arrow, once again, 40% CDR, or is it actually 40%? No, he hasn't finished.
Yes, it is.
Is it? No, it isn't.
Wait, is SSV or 20 or 10? It's 20. Never mind. Well, in the middle, Philister is getting run down. Shafty is legendary. Doesn't matter. And yes, it is 40-20
Yes,
from
okay.
Essence Reaver 10 plus 10.
I wasn't sure if Stinger gave
And yeah.
CDR, in fact, so it does. Which is fun, because now she does have 40% CDR. And I would have to check this, but what you need to know is that that arrow is on an incredibly low cooldown. Varte uses it himself, in fact. Unsure if it caught anyone as direct camera just panned away. But
that probably means no.
Hey, man. You can't just ruin my
I'm
dreams
sorry,
like that. Alright, come on. Just come
Okay,
on.
yeah.
Let me dream.
That was a bit more brutal than I wanted it to be. But
No,
life is brutal.
It's fine. I'm used to it. So, Fuzzy Esports running around.
Okay.
They have managed to secure all of the outer turrets and have managed to get a lot of chunk damage on the mid lane one as well. We haven't really talked about him, but Bumblebee has just been sitting in that bot lane, farming and pushing wave after wave. Given that he has such a huge difference between himself and that Aatrox, he's got that Triforce and Tiamat finish, which is just so much better than the Black Cleaver. and the hammer that Jungler No Gangs has. So it's just difficult for the side of BRG to find themselves anything as they don't out 5v5 them and they lose the side lane pressure. Luckily for them, however, it's the side of Fuzzy Esports that are relatively calm, they're collected, they're not really doing anything so aggressive, they're not exactly increasing the tempo of the game just yet, but slowly but surely they're going to start and, you know, hammering on these objectives and hammering to take them down.
However, they are utilizing Fuzzy Esports, I should say, the arrow every time it's off cooldown. And
True.
We are pausing. Flame Scout is going to be near Varte on that red buff. He's there alone though, so I would assume he doesn't want to go in on that one. Alright, well, the arrow nearly actually nailed Varte. And we are 19 minutes in the game. It's
he got it!
Oh!
Pogs.
Well, it is still 8,000 gold lead for Fuzzy Esports against Blackwoods Gaming. I never thought I was gonna say these words. We are 90 minutes in. Objectively, it's a stomp.
Yeah, definitely. The only way that this could be more stompy was if they were hammering on the inhibitors right now, which is incredibly difficult to do. So right now, Fuzzy Esports, they have all together played the early game very well. They've perfectly played their laning phase. They found those leads. Shafty has had an amazing performance thus far. The only person that I'm really looking at to kind of try and up his score is Flame Scuff, as he's sitting just on 0-3, and just Luden's Echo with an Oblivion Orb, but still, right now, Fuzzy Esports, they've played as well. What they need to do is, given that this Baron is spawning in around 10 seconds, secure the vision around it, and they can just force it. They're gonna win any 5v5, even despite playing against a Xerath right now. Who has the Luden's Echo? Well, yeah, that Ash Arrow.
Yeah, Varte is locked down. Great picks. Utilizing that cooldown. Fuzzy Esports do everything correct. They get the jungler, and that could as well be the Baron call.
Yeah, it was a great flank from Fuzzy Esports as well, as they had two members sitting behind this poor Sylas. And despite Ashe being a utility bot right now, she's just melting this Baron so fast, given that they have the help of the Azir. And it doesn't look like BRG are gonna try and contest it, only with the Xerath and Ezreal ultis.
Baron is dropping low. Right of the Arcane is still there. It will be secured. Oh, a double Emperor's Divide from Flame Scuff in the melee. He's going to get them both. One kill over to him, one kill over to Bumblebee, and Blackwoods Gaming a consolation prize in form of Infernal Drake.
Yay.
I mean, whatever you can take at this point.
Yeah, the silver linings right now for the side of Black Rose Gaming. The problem is they may not have time to utilize that buff as well. The Baron buff is now just destroying the base of BRG as Fuzzy Esports. They're just barreling down this inhibitor. Looking to reset, they have that top lane wave just crashing against the turret, however, so they might just be looking for a bit more before they reset for all of the gold and all of the items that they have. No. They won't be going there. Well, I heard the Luden's Echo proc. That bag should not have gone through.
Actually, if you only take the damage in like 0.5 seconds, I don't think it interrupts your back. Also, fun fact, if you have a shield, just damage doesn't interrupt your back. I know,
Yes.
Karen, but maybe the viewers don't.
Okay.
You see? And because of that, you can subscribe to us, you know?
Exactly.
For more of those fun facts.
Subscribe for more fun tips, and also me going into a Discord channel which has the streamer which is on air, and I by mistake, and I say something which is going to be hopefully lost in translation. Fuzzy Esports,
Moving
man.
on.
Yeah, Fuzzy Esports.
They're so good.
12k of a gold lead. Saying facts right now, just as Shafty. That's an Ash Arrow.
Oh, Vart, goodbye. Good night. Have a nice time, I guess. Shafty is legendary. That's the 13th kill. It's honesty.
See, if the thing about Valhalla is real, then Varte has managed to visit it altogether 7 times already. So, you know, I think he's growing fond of that place. Which is unfortunate for him, of course, as he hasn't really managed to play the game because he already was going to lose out on a 1v1 against this Olaf from level 1, and after that, those 2 kills that were given to him at level 2, it was just impossible for him to do anything. But now, teamfight possibly occurring as Flamescuff jumps in.
Oh, Flamescuff, he just, well, he gets one, he gets Philistine, he's looking for next, it doesn't matter. You don't even need the insane Azir plays, since Fuzzy Esports, they're pushing into the base. Gino is sidestepping every single.
Oh no!
Apart from the last one, I called it too soon. Lizard is able to get one back, the arrow once again. onto Varte Shafty is legendary.
Jesus Christ.
That duo is too damn strong, but so are Fuzzy Esports. The Nexus is exposed. Black Rose Gaming, they are crumbling. It's a shutdown for Jungle, no gangs, but it doesn't matter. Fuzzy Esports get their 2-0 week.
I feel like we've entered an alternate reality at this point. Black Rose Gaming going 0-2 is a very unfortunate scenario for them, of course, but it's not the worst one, given that, once again, they were at their weakest they have been this split thus far. They do not have, of course, Mech Freeze in the bot lane, which was arguably the best AD carry they could field and the best performing player there. So I think that there was a lot of mistakes that BRG made. There was a lot of overextensions from several members of that lineup that they just kind of have to fix individually. So nothing too terrible, but I want to focus on Fuzzy Esports. Shafty with an amazing performance. Cal the Turtle, he was stuck on a utility AD carry and he did his job. Much better suited to him than something like an Ezreal that we saw from him. Really performing to a great extent. And Bumblebee as well. 1v1ing jungler no ganks with no problem. Sure, that matchup can be Aurelia favored, but again, he performed mechanically out of his mind. So I still say that Fuzzy Esports deserved his victory.
They very much do. I don't think you can take it away from them. And this week, man, we reached the halfway point in the regular season and things are flipping on their head. But that will be it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Also, we have a Twitch channel where we stream a third of all the matches that are happening, which is twitch.tv/SQ1 League. So go there and we will see you on our usual broadcasts, which are Mondays and Tuesdays at 19 and 20 Central European Time.